So you now have an action plan for 5 potential global economic risks. Tell us what the risks are, and then we'll go through each one of them.
There are a set of things that can go well. Most people don't want to talk about those, but there are a set of things that go well. And there are a set of things that can go badly. 2 of them come from Europe. So it's not enough to say, oh, Europe is scary. You've got to concentrate what in Europe is scary. And 2 things in Europe are scary: Greece and Spain. In the US, we have a self-inflicted threat, which is a significant one, which is the fiscal cliff. The 4th one is whether China soft lands. And finally, what happens in the Middle East, in particular, what happens in Iran. Each of these can completely change the outlook, completely. So it's really important to figure out what these threats are and how you would respond to them if they were to materialize.
Okay, let's start with fiscal cliff. Potential scenarios, impact on GDP and the bond market, because it's not necessarily the same as we discussed.
So the fiscal cliff is very simple. If Congress doesn't take decisions, then we will get a fiscal contraction of 4% of GDP. Why is that important? Because that unambiguously would throw us into recession. If it throws us into recession with an unemployment rate that's so high, with inequality that's such a problem, we will suffer enormous feedback effects. So much so that we get close to a situation where for the first time in a very long time, our kids' generation may be worse off than ours. So this is really important.
So that's the do-nothing scenario.
That's the do-nothing scenario. Our own baseline, and I'll give it a 60% baseline, is that Congress gets its act together. It does something, doesn't completely eliminate the cliff, nor should it, but the fiscal contraction is about 1.5% of GDP, and that's something that our economy can absorb. That is our baseline. The upside scenario is the grand bargain, and if you get the grand bargain, you unleash the $3 trillion, and the impact on that on the economy is significant, and of course, the negative tail is we go into recession.
The grand bargain, if Congress does come up with a grand bargain to, A, what would that look like? B, what would be the effect on the economy?
So any solution requires simultaneous movement on the tax side and on the entitlement side. You can't get there mathematically in one way, because if you try to get there mathematically either just on spending or on taxes, you're going to break something. And what you break, the collateral damage will be greater than what you're trying to solve. So you need compromises. We need to move both on tax reform and entitlement reform. It's feasible. We have time. It's a great thing that we issue a currency that everybody else wants, right? So we have time to get it right. We just need politicians to compromise and move simultaneously on both things, and combine that with fixing the labor market, the credit market, and the housing market.